in recreating in the Living History group a very, very close to the original set of rules and orders that they live by. When they're on their Living History group, you will find they're not sitting there swilling things from tin cans. They're actually trying to live exactly as it would have been. That's not to say they don't enjoy themselves and have parties, but when they're actually portraying the crews that they are living the part. Now, the whole thing about Living History is a lot of people think it's just men running around playing soldiers. Well, that's it. It's a Living History. If you want to go play soldiers, you get a paintball gun, you go splat, that's fine. Living History gives you what museums and photographs and old newsreels can't. They give you the sights, the sounds, and even the smells of history. If you've ever been near, I don't know, a horse, say, a horse with its leather, with its brass, the noise, the smell, everything gives you the full experience of what it's like. When you're looking at a photograph or a static display in a museum, you don't get the full experience. Living History aims to bring it all to life, quite literally, because an old pair of stinky boots that have been on for 2 weeks, some creaking leather, the smell of the wet canvas, and particularly in this kind of weather, everything gives you the full experience of what it must have been like. And when you see the conditions some of these guys had to live in for months at a time, you then begin to appreciate what the veterans did for us as the completely unsung heroes, which is why we always big up the veterans here. What's going to happen today is Robbie Granger, as you can see, has come in and set up his map table. He's sent out his gun crew chiefs to set their plot lines. Now, just as they would have done in the field, they have a target designated. The information is relayed to the gun team. The gun team come in, and as you can see, it's pretty uncomfortable. They're on the jeep, they've got the gun behind. No comfort whatsoever for these guys. They literally had to clamber on board wherever they could. Once the gun has been dropped, you see, there's the counterbalancing soldier on the front. Okay, the jeep drives away. They then put down the limber. And these howitzers are actually, if you can believe it, a World War I American design. They're still working. The way they traverse the gun is actually to wind it across the axle. The axle is part of the traverse system, and it's not very keen on lots of mud because it just bungs up the threads, and then you can't traverse the gun. If you wanted to traverse it in a rough way, you pick up the tail end and you swing the whole thing round, but for fine adjustments, they actually wind it across the axle tube itself. Now, these guns are pack howitzers, and they're designed to fire in high arcing trajectories over and behind enemy cover. So if you were to imagine the enemy were behind these trees, it would be very difficult to fire straight at them because they're behind the trees. But guns like this can fire the shells so high in the air that they go right up and they drop like bombs on the other side. That's the design. Now, once the gun crews have been relayed their information, they will relay it to their entire crew. The reason they relay it to the entire crew is because if one of them gets killed, the information is not lost. Likewise, each crew member knows his job and everybody else's job on the gun. Because if he gets killed, somebody else knows how to do his job. The gun can still fire. No obstructions, no dirt has got lodged in there. There are no hot embers, particularly from a pre-charged fire. We don't want any discharges when they're not expected. That's it, now you walk back, field line is set, pitch to coordinates, and everything is then laid in, ready for the fire mission. Now, like I said, they're just sitting there, double checking everything. Also, today, of course, they're waiting for exactly noon. And I've been told probably is one of the most accurate watches on site. Now, when he starts his display for proper, you'll hear him shouting out commands. We've given him a microphone so that you can hear the commands better. And his commands will be short, staccato commands. He won't go into detail. He'll tell them what they need to know, and that's all they need to know. And you'll hear the gun crews repeating the information back to him to say that they've received it. Now, the single 75mm pack howitzer that you have here represents the sole survivor of the F-Troop 3 battery of the 1st Air Landing Light Regiment Royal Artillery at Oosterbeek on the 25th of September 1944. It's quite nice that Robbie's got hold of it because you know it's in good hands when it's there. Now, F-Troop had 4 guns. They left barefoot on 4 gliders in September 1944, bound to Wolfhays, only to have 1 glider make it. They made a forced landing after takeoff. Another glider landed 10 miles southwest. Oh, he started. Oh, shut up.
HE, M48, instant, charge 2, bearing 0010. Angle of sights 430. 5-round salvo. 10-second intervals. On my command.
There goes the runner. They didn't have microphones back then. Ready for it?
Number 1 gun. Fire!
Detachment ready!
Now, just as a side note, these guys have actually been up to the Royal Artillery, and the Royal Artillery itself said there's absolutely nothing they can teach these guys about using these guns. So when the Royal Artillery says it, you know these guys are doing a bloody good professional job. confirmation that their rounds landed where they want them to land. They would make any adjustments as necessary and then fire off another salvo to make sure it was on target. Once the salvo was confirmed as being on target, they would let loose with a complete barrage and obliterate the target that was designated. Bear in mind, like I said, radios in World War II were in their infancy. They had terrible range, so most of them were pigeon by carrier pigeon. We would have people on footboats in backwards and forwards trying to deliver messages. Time eats a lot of it. These days it's much, much quicker. Now they've been reissued with orders, they're checking the guns once more. Take post!
Fresh target, smoke, M64, delay, charge 2, bearing 6379. Angle of sight 300. Ranging 670. 5 rounds gunfire.
Here we go again.
Cease firing.
Right, now they've been given the order to cease fire, it's time to pack the gun down, hook it up and leave. Because by now the enemy are pretty fed up with what's just happened and they're trying to find these guys. On goes the counterbalance. Talk about man portable. Can they lift up the limber, hook it back on the Jeep, lock it in place. They climb back on board as best they can, and then the gun leaves. Now at the same time, the gunnery commander is packing his gear away in his Jeep because he wants to get out of there too. But like I said, that was the summer of '44. Display team, they're up on the tree line behind you and their entire camp is set up as it would have been in a camp back in the day. So if you want to see those guys, go up there and see them. I trust you, it's a worthwhile experience. Now they're going to take the gun apart and clean it. So if you want to see how one of these things comes apart, get up there and see that. But for now, give them a great big round of applause, the summer of '44 display team. And Robbie Granger, their illustrious leader. Go on, Robbie. Now, Robbie, I've got to tell you, has just had some major surgery. We're really pleased to see him here. There he goes. Nice big round of applause for Robbie. Every year he comes and does this for us.